lot of people and just the surrounding energy of everything, they have a tendency to get depleted. So all that luscious time we were able to spend on the legs really helps support the rest of the system and bring some nice nutrients and some motherly love into the equation. They're so connected and from the earth. So we move up the body now, and we find ourselves in the abdomen, the Hara, the energetic and physical center of the body. So in the Chinese culture, when this was all coming to be, they considered the Hara a sacred place of coming together of your own true spirit. Like you realize your true self, your Buddha self in your belly. So our breath allows us to come in and cultivate that awareness of our higher selves. And that energy then just starts to emanate up and feed all the channels. So the breath and its relationship to Hara is the key component in how the energy is created and how it circulates through the body. And in this form of work, in this form of shiatsu, we have different ways of determining imbalance in the body. These are called diagnoses in the traditional sense. What they are definitely are keen ways of observing the body and being able to associate certain characteristics to what you're feeling. So if you look at this map here, this Hara map here, and it shows the abdomen, and it has all these different colored circles around it. For want of a different word, we can say that those are reflex circles. So meaning that all those abbreviations represent the organs in the body, and all those organs are connected to the meridians. So we can not only determine the balance or imbalance of the body we're working on by feeling around the Hara, but we can also start to bring the body back to balance by stimulating these source points. So what I'd like you to do when we come to this portion is to have this open by you, this manual. And we're just going to, I'll show you a way of going around pelvic. And I just want you to take note that when you're working, if you feel any areas that feel either excessively hard or soft, or hot or cold. So say if you're working and you feel, oh, this is nice, oh, this feels hard. You look and see what this is and just mark it down. Okay? Because what we're going to do is see what you feel, and then we're going to go to those meridians and work on them and see if that brings that area back into balance. Because the condition of the organ is reflected in these reflex areas. So that's a lovely opportunity to continue to soften in your own self and connect with the person and see if you can determine through easy palpation the hardness or the softness or the hotness. So here's a little thing to think about that when we're feeling hard. Let's use this exercise. Put your books down for a second. And if you turn your palm up and you observe the palm of your thumb, its eminence, and let's think of that as our Hara. Okay? That is our Hara. So here's some pressure. Place your thumb just against the side of your hand. Just take your thumb and move it to the side of your hand. Now don't push, but just place it there. Now take your fingers of your other hand and feel that eminence of the thumb. And you feel there's a slight softness, and then you go down and you feel some hardness and underlying structure. You all feel? That's balance. That's what a healthy, energetic interface between the physical and the energetic body feels like. A slight give, and then some underlying structure. So that's, feel that? You can do that. Okay, now, if you press the thumb hard against the side of your hand, just press it hard against your hand. Now feel it. Hard right away. Yes? You can feel that it's overly full. That's jitsu. That means it's too full. And a lot of times, because there's so much stagnant energy, that there's also heat associated with that. Okay. Now, far from that is if you relax your thumb and shake your hand out a little bit. And then feel it. You'll see how you go down more. Like you go down further than you would normally. So that's almost a sense of depletion. You sink in further than normal. You're going down further. That's depletion. And that is also associated with coolness in the body usually because it's depleted. So with this, you naturally would hold it longer. Because anyone who has sense of depletion when you see them, you just want to hold them, hug them, just to say, just be with them. Same with this. Where if someone's overly excited and full, I don't try to put a hug on them, but it's more like, and that's how you work the points when they're excessive. Okay. So let's do this much now. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to work, and I'll show you how to work. But I want you to think about that. I want you to make some notes about what you feel is hard or soft or cold or hard. Okay, so here we're going to look at the Hara this way. This is how we'll do it. We're going to loosen it by doing this. Our thumbs are just below the sternum, and I'm going to follow their breath. And with every exhale, I follow their breath down and up underneath the rib cage. And with the next inhale, it takes my thumbs out and I move them down. And on the exhale, I sink in, following up underneath the rib cage. So their breath is the boss. You follow them. When you get past the rib cage, you're going to press into the sides of the abdominal muscles with the sides of your hand. And you see how my hands come just above the hip? So you're compressing right into that. And then here's the navel, and then you're going to compress right through the center. Yeah, and it's dictated by the breath. So, like I was talking with some of you when you go and engage the meridian or subo, that you sink in only as far as the body allows you to. So there's a certain sense of slack that you take up. And then you'll just interface with the underlying structure, and that's where you stay. Same here. And because it's such a vulnerable area, you want to first ask permission to work on it. Also, with your touch, you have to just follow their breath so that they feel that they're in control, which they definitely are, because it's a vulnerable area. Mm-hmm. So we want to respect that for sure. So just some nice general loosening. Whatever you feel is appropriate, and just include that too, because it really opens up the diaphragm as it gets fascially stuck up underneath the ribs, and it allows it to come into its true fruition so you have deeper breath. And ultimately, it's that deeper breath that comes in and literally massages those reflex areas and helps balance them out. So when we relieve tension or stress in a system, the system starts to relax. Either energetic or physical machine, it starts to relax, and things operate deeper. They run smoother. There's less friction, less heat. So after some general loosening, I want you to just do this practical thing. Just look and say, okay, this is this meridian. And if you feel hot, cold, hard, soft, if it feels good to you, move on. Okay? But now let's take a look at this manual, because I want you to write in there with a pen if you have it to make sure you're clear what these are, because they didn't print that clear, and I want to make sure that there's no discrepancy with it.
Oh, here you go. Do you have a binder? Yeah, I left it outside. Okay. That's fine.
I have a few pens in my bag if anybody.
I do too.
You good? Mm-hmm. Okay. So when you're looking at the top, right below the Hara, The first one is HT, and that's heart. And then as you're looking at it and going down to the right, ST, stomach. The next one, TH, is the triple warmer. So you can change that T, because it used to be called triple heater, but now it's been upgraded, 0.0, to triple warmer, TW. The next one is lung, LU. I'm just going to go in a big circle. The one below that, LI, is large intestine. The pink looking one is small intestine. Going right down to the bottom, BL is bladder.
Is that BLADDA?
Bladder, yeah. Just you spell it just the way it sounds. Bladder. Then you're coming up the other side. So again, that pink one is small intestine. The longer one underneath it is large intestine. Coming up is lung, and then liver makes an appearance. And then its partner, gallbladder. And we find ourselves back to the heart where we started, and just below heart in the center where it says HG, change that to PC, which is pericardium. It used to be called the heart governor. The heart governor. And then directly below that, all around the navel, like the center of your body, is the meridian that is associated with the earth. So this is the center, is spleen. And then right out of spleen, you descend into that blue-black murkiness, eternal darkness of the kidney. I just thought I'd put that in the video. Thought that might sound good.
Yes. So you were saying that these are the source points for the organ?
No, they're, so that's, first of all, that's everything, right, on that chart? Okay.
Nope.
No.
Large intestine, small intestine.
Said those.
You did those? Oh, okay.
Small
Sorry.
little guys, small intestine.
Okay, good.
You
So
just
what
did
is your,
that.
what is your question?
Oh, I guess I made the assumption that these were source points for the organ.
They're more observation points. They tell you the condition of the overall organ. Where the source point, helps rectify the energy flow. This one gives you more of an overall sense of the tonality of the whole meridian.
So it's almost a way to diagnose.
Yes, I was dancing around the word diagnosis.
Yeah, I could tell.
Doctors come sometimes to palpate all around your
Yeah.
abdomen area.
Yeah, and because it's such a viable form of diagnosis, because you can literally palpate a lot of the organs that
Yeah.
you're talking about
Yeah.
in that area. So it's just such an interesting area. But also too, I want to impress on you like how you approach Hara, because it's very vulnerable, sacred place. So when you do approach, you have to be really conscious about the quality of your contact as it's informed by your breath. Really be connected with your breath and working with their breath, and only going into the body as far as their breath allows you. That's as far as they allows you. So let's do that. Make sure now this portion of the exercise where you mark down, and I'm going to write a few things on the board just so you can keep things straight. Okay? And then we'll see how we're going to approach this. Okay? But it's a good practical exercise in connecting you with a form of diagnosis and how feeling here connects to different areas of the body, because that is the basis for shiatsu. So, shiatsu.
Hi.
Hey.